Today we're halfway through the alphabet. Woohoo! So excited. We're going to do N's today. We're going to focus on words that start with the letter N, and one of them is noticing. Noticing what happens. Really seeing things in the present right now, not being too busy with what's going on with our own world and what's in our own mind or our own body, and just focusing on the loved ones around us and noticing changes. Pay attention to that because sometimes we don't always see that. And especially when we're in town or always seeing mom and dad every day, sometimes we don't notice those little things that somebody else would come in and maybe just come in a couple times a year or once a month, and they notice them right away, which is great because it helps to have fresh eyes to notice things so that we could make things better or tweak them. Noticing, their needs with medications or appetites or movement or their mood, and maybe their clothing, what they're wearing, maybe it's mismatched, maybe it was from yesterday, maybe it's got food on it, those different little things. Maybe they're acting strange with maybe their behavior or their thought process. Sometimes it's as simple as something so tiny as a UTI that we just don't think about, but once they get them, they start getting them a little bit more often sometimes, and it's just easier when you know the symptoms and you know that mom is acting herself because you see her every day. The second one is name the routines. Make it easier, make it fun, because when it's fun, it is easier to remember. My voice is like, woo, or my words get a little bit mashed together and I talk really fast. So I'm sorry, that's just crazy me sometimes. I get really too excited. But naming those routines, and it just makes it easier and easier for you, easier for them, and it can just make it kind of fun. And if you want to play word games, if mom or dad want to join in, that's cool too, or fun too. That morning flow, that medication movement, and you can come up with better names than probably what I've come up with, but you can come up with different things that maybe make them happy or make it fun for them in the house. And another one is nurture the connection. Nurture your connection with mom or dad or your loved one that you're caring for. That connection is so important because, you don't want them to not always tell you what's going on. When my dad was really sick, people would say, well, how come your daughter doesn't do this? She's a nurse. Why doesn't she tell you this? It was something as simple as he was doing his inhaler for his breathing and not rinsing his mouth out every single time after. And you're supposed to, so that you don't have issues with fungal in your mouth and on your tongue and all that. And it's very painful. And then it causes skin breakdown. But they were like, why doesn't your daughter, the nurse, tell you these things? And it's like, I wasn't living in the house with dad, but I was there as much as I possibly could be. And also being there, you want to be their daughter. And that's the one thing I told them, like, I want to keep my connection with my dad. My dad has been my dad, my hero, and I always want to be there and help him. And I always want to give him those tips. But sometimes dad didn't always want to hear it from the nurse. He would hear it from other people and be better about it. And dad doesn't always want to be, told or nagged, so you had to kind of come up with things a little bit differently. And what can I do for you? What can I help? And, this will make it easier for you if you try it this way, or we can try it this way, right? Just trying to word things a little bit better, nurturing that connection, eye contact, a smile, a joke. That connection calms the whole house. And that's what's important, is keeping the calm from the chaos that could probably be created throughout the day. Anything can happen, anything can change in our days. And this is not just with being a caregiver. We know that when we step outside of the house, who knows, right? It gets a little crazy. But notice first, and then name what works. Notice first, name what works, and nurture that connection, because that's so important in the house.